Dear Rental Scale Up members, welcome. Today I'm with Anurag Verma. He's a co-founder of PriceLabs. As you may know, PriceLabs is one of the leading dynamic pricing software in the industry. So they've always been at the forefront of innovation in our industry, and they've just raised $30 million. So congrats on that, but we'll hear from Anurag what they're going to do with the money, because in the end, what's interesting to us is how maybe the product's going to evolve. And as I said, it's really, really innovative. So I'm very curious to hear more about this. And without further ado, let me welcome Anurag. Anurag, hello, how are you?
Thank you so much, Thibaut. Doing good, doing good.
So I was teasing people that the company PriceLabs had raised $30 million. That's a lot of money. So congrats on that. Can you maybe just give you some background information on where's the money coming from, for example, and what you are intending on doing with it?
Absolutely, Thibaut, absolutely. Yeah, and thank you so much. So I mean, and many of you know, we have been around for about 8 years, been bootstrapped. One of the key things that we really pride ourselves on is we make the product work and we make customers happy through good customer service. And that's what has been propelling our growth. Over the years, this question of whether to raise money or not always keeps coming up with any company. And we have generally said, hey, not right now. We were beginning to reach the scale where we could see that, okay, if we can find a partner who sort of aligned with us on our values, which is essentially the product needs to be really something that our customers can make good use of, stand behind, and two, we are able to support our customers in making the best use of PriceLabs. Those are the two things we were essentially saying are something we want to double down on. And we raised this money from Summit Partners, and we've been in touch with them over the years. But what we really liked about them was they were very, very aligned on hey, yeah, the way you guys work is what we want to see happen. So they don't want us to suddenly shift our focus to something else, but continued product innovation, which essentially takes the best engineering minds, great data scientists, a team that supports the product all around it, whether it be on support, on sales, on onboarding, any of these. We want to grow our team across the board to make sure the product grows as our customer grows, and we're able to support them in their growth. That's more or less what we are going to invest this in.
When it comes to using dynamic pricing, there's a lot of automation going on, saves you time, a lot of things, but there's a crucial first decision, for example, that people have to take, which is, a base price. What first price should I put in the system? That's the first decision. The second decision people have to do is what should be my minimum stay? And this actually can change over time. And I think it's interesting to understand for users or people watching that you roll out the tools to help out. And I think some are even industry first to help people find the right settings. So can you share a bit why these settings are important and how you guys are helping people make the right decision?
Yeah, so if you think about PriceLabs in general, our core product offering was you give us some inputs, we know enough about market, you know a lot about your property, and together this tool is going this combination is going to automate your pricing, your minimum stays, and really drive a lot of improvements to your revenue, right? Now, over time, there are some things that you know really well. So for example, you know your property really well, you know its amenities really well. But there are some things about the market that you may not know, where we want to help you make the best decision possible. So that's where the base price help one came, where we said, okay, as a first step, 3 years back, we used to ask our customers, you set a base price, and we'll do the fluctuations depending on demand around it. And a lot of customers found a lot of value in that. But there were a lot of customers who said, hey, I don't know what my base price should be. You have a lot of data. Can you come up with something smart? And we said, okay, yeah, that's a fair point. And as we grow, more and more of our customers should expect us to be able to help them when they are making any key decision about their pricing strategy, right? That's where the minimum stays also came up. And that one is actually a little more complex. Minimum stays is not something that is intuitively clear to an average host or even a property manager. Like there are plenty of property managers who do 7-night stays all year long, or 7-night stays in during their peak season, right? And then they will do 3 or 4 nights in off season and things like that. Now, that's fair and good, and you might be getting fully booked, but maybe there is plenty of demand for shorter stays that you just don't get to see because your restrictions are too strict. We tend to have that data to say, hey, like if 70% of the bookings in your location are less than 5 nights long, and if you have a 7-night stay all year round, then sure, you might be getting booked, but you're probably having to price really low to get those few bookings out there. Whereas if you lowered your minimum stay, maybe you could get a little more out of a little more revenue out of your properties, right? Except you don't get to see that what kind of demand is out there in the market. We first started by providing in our market dashboards that kind of data to say, hey, what kind of length of stay patterns are common in your market? And as a lot of our very savvy customers were able to use that and say, okay, this is how I want to adjust my minimum stays. The next question came up is like, hey, is that all there is to it? Like, can we actually come up with smart recommendations on what those settings should be and how they should change with lead time to be able to maximize sort of your revenue out of the property? And we said, okay, yeah, it took us a good 8 months. Our data science team, we did a lot of background research work, figuring out what kind of algorithms to use. And then earlier this year, we were able to roll out something that actually did that. And then our experiments are showing somewhere between 5 to 10% uplift compared to having your minimum stay to a flat value all year round, right? So those are the kind of things we want to go ahead and keep investing in, where it's not like we think of something today, a customer asks something, and we go flip the switch, and a month later, this thing is ready. Like, we want to make a lot of these investments, if you want to call them, but a lot of these long-term projects, which might not come up with a solution right away, but in a year's time or in a few months' time, we'll have something that takes one more burden off of our customers. That's essentially what we want to do on the product side, to say, what are the decisions you're making where you don't have all the information, where we can aid you in making that decision.
Yeah, fantastic, Anurag. I really like these examples because, again, to your point, right, they're really helping to understand how you can help, how you respecting that people have to make their own decisions, but they may need more information, and how can you, give them tools and ways to,
exactly,
if they want to, get more advice, more suggestion, and act on them.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And hopefully, with this new investment coming in with fundraising, we'll be able to have more of these tools. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. But what you mentioned is important. Like, even with minimum stays or with base price, we come up with suggestions for you where we don't want to force them on you in some ways. So there are plenty of customers who have a requirement for whatever reason from the owners or their own operations to say, hey, this is the minimum stay I want. I can't deviate from this. And then there are customers, they can still look at our recommendations and say, okay, this is what PriceLabs recommends. Maybe I can go take it to the owner to say, how about we have in low season a minimum stay of 3 nights instead of 4 nights, because it will help me drive more revenue. So you can take those up, and if the owner says no, 4 nights is what we want, you can adjust our recommendations and stick to that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anurag Verma. You're the co-founder of PriceLabs. If people want you to hear more about the company, what's the best way to get started?
Right. So you can always head over to pricelabs.co. And if you want to learn, there's plenty of resources on our website. If you are looking to find out and learn more about how dynamic pricing or revenue management works, we actually do daily training webinars for anybody who's looking to learn what PriceLabs does. And we have a 101 and a 201, so like the beginner learning and then the advanced one. You can always reach out to us on support@pricelabs.co. Our support team is fantastic. They will point you to the right resources, or if it needed, hop on a training call and things like that. So yeah, always feel free to reach out.